Seth Vidya Mandir English High School and Junior College of Science and Commerce at Vasai East has taken the initiative to educate the students through the online audio-video sessions. I, Mrs. Archana Bhatija, welcome the students to this e-learning module. Today we study Unit 4, Lesson 2, The Luncheon. The Luncheon by William Somerset Maugham. We spotlight the author of this lesson today. Author William Somerset Maugham was an English playwright, novelist, and a short story writer. Maugham was an English writer born in Paris during the British regime. His first novel, Liza of Lambeth, sold out rapidly. He then went on to become a full-time writer. For his large number of books, novels, plays, articles, and other collections, Maugham is known as the man of letters. W. Somerset Maugham was one of the most commercially successful and gifted writers of the 20th century. As I summarize this chapter, The Luncheon, it is a humorous story, students. There is one story with a flashback of another story. It is in the form of the narrative by the author as the first person about a luncheon date that is proposed to him by a woman whom he hopes is a supporter of his writings. Further, the lesson is in the form of impressive dialogues, students, between the two characters, the author and the lady. The story is situated in a restaurant. Now, students, for the literary devices of this chapter, the entire story, beginning from the title to the climax, there is irony in the chapter. What is irony, students? Irony means the contrast, the difference between the expectation and what is reality. The difference between the surface meaning and the underlying meaning. The different ironical aspects are there is verbal irony even in the dialogues that makes the lesson humorous, or you can say entertaining and enjoyable. Now there are some examples of irony. Let me clear it to you earlier. Luncheon being a light lunch actually turns out to be an expensive one. Next is, author thought that the lady will be a gorgeous and a graceful woman, but she would be attractive, but rather she was a person who ate a lot and she was quite healthy and fat. She often said that she didn't eat much, but then she ordered the most expensive dishes on the menu. Another irony is about the author thought that the date would be a pleasant one, but it turned out to be a quite stressful date for the author that he remembered for so many years. Now, students, I move with the lesson as I read in the textbook on page 151, The Luncheon. I caught sight of her at the play, and in answer to her call, I went over during the interval and sat down beside her. It was long since I had last seen her, and if someone had not mentioned her name, I hardly think I would have recognized her. She addressed me brightly. Well, it's many years since we first met. How time does fly. We are none of us getting any younger, she said. Do you remember the first time I saw you? You asked me to the luncheon. So now here, students, as we begin the chapter, there are many phrases that you have to clear. The author meets the young lady for the second time. Now, there is a remembrance of the first time when they had met many years back, about say 20 years back. But author refuses to recognize her this time because of the change in her appearance. Now, as I read the chapter further. Did I remember? It was 20 years ago and I was living in Paris. I had a tiny apartment and I was earning barely enough money. She had read a book of mine and had written to me about it. I answered, thanking her, and presently I received from her another letter saying that she was passing through Paris and would like to have a chat with me. But her time was limited and the only free moment she had was on the following Thursday, and I would give her a little luncheon at Fayot's afterwards. Fayot's is a restaurant and it was so far beyond my means that I had never even thought of going there. I had 80 francs, gold francs, to last me and for the rest of the month, and a modest luncheon should not cost more than 15 francs. If I cut out coffee for the next 2 weeks, I would manage well. I answered that I would meet my friend at Fayot's on Thursday at 12:30. She was So now here we come to know that author was an average earning person. He had very little money. Here francs is the currency of France, where 1 franc today stands for 79 rupees. So the author barely had just 7,000 rupees approximately to last his month. And she offered to eat at Fiots, that was a very expensive restaurant. Now here throughout the story we know that our author is a very modest person. He cannot refuse the lady. So he agrees to meet her. I answered that I would meet my friend at Fiots, he said, on Thursday. Now when he meets her, how does he find her? She was in appearance imposing rather than attractive. And she gave me the impression of having more teeth, white and large, and even then were necessary for any practical purpose. So now here the author describes her appearance, which is not very fascinating. She was talkative, but she seemed to talk about me. I was prepared to be an attentive listener. I was startled when the menu was brought, for the prices were a great deal higher than I thought. But what did she reassure the author? She reassured me. I never eat anything for luncheon, she said. Oh, don't say that, I answered generously. So the conversation begins about the menu, whether things are very expensive, but the author is decent enough to allow the luncheon. I never eat more than one thing, she said. I think people eat far too much nowadays. A little fish perhaps. I wonder if they have any salmon. So students, what did she offer for eating? The expensive fish, salmon, and a little bit of caviar. Well, it was early in the year for salmon and it was not on the menu, but I asked the waiter if there was any. Yes, a beautiful salmon had just come in. It was the first they had had. I ordered it for my guest. The waiter asked her if she would have something while it was being cooked. No, she answered. I never eat more than one thing. Unless you had a little caviar, I never mind caviar. So both the expensive dishes were offered by the lady and the author agreed to get it for her. In fact, he offered her to get something to eat. I knew I could not afford caviar, the author said, but I could not very well tell her that. For myself, I chose the cheapest dish on the menu, and that was a mutton chop. I think you are unwise to eat meat, she said. I don't believe in overloading my stomach. So every time she felt she has done a decent thing of offering two expensive dishes. Here the author's difficulty starts when he has less money and he has to pay more now, later on. As the lesson goes on, she ate the caviar and she ate the salmon. She talked happily about art and literature and music, gaily is happily. She was very delightful by nature. She spoke a lot of appreciating the author. But I wondered what the bill would come to. When my mutton chop arrived, she took me quite seriously to task. I see that you are in the habit of eating a heavy luncheon. I'm sure it's a mistake. Why don't you follow my example and just eat one thing? I couldn't possibly eat anything more unless they had some of those giant asparagus. I should be sorry to leave Paris without having some of them. So now she ordered the third dish, asparagus, and it was very modestly that she ordered, and it was very sweetly and kindly that the author too agreed, because he had no option. He had agreed to come for the luncheon with her. My heart sank. What does this mean, students? Here the author's difficulty, the sudden sadness begins when he has to think deeply about what he will have to pay. I had seen them in the shops and I knew that they were horribly expensive. My mouth had often watered at the sight of them. I'm not at the least hungry, my guest sighed. But if you insist, I don't mind having some asparagus. I ordered them. Aren't you going to have any? No, I never eat asparagus. So asparagus is kind of a vegetarian dish which is again very expensive and she offers to eat. And the author is very delightful on his face to agree to get it for her. We waited for the asparagus to be cooked. Panic seized me. Here author begins to get scared. Panic seized me. Here he begins to get worried and he's actually fearful about what will come across. It was not a question now of how much money I should have left over for the rest of the month, but whether I had enough to pay the bill now. It would be mortifying. What it would be horrifying. To find myself 10 francs short and be obliged to borrow from my guest. These were the thoughts continuously coming in the author's mind. I knew exactly how much I had and if the bill came to more. I made up my mind that I would put my hand in my pocket and with a dramatic cry start up and say, it had been picked. Of course, it would be awkward again if she also did not have money enough to pay the bill. Then the only thing would be to leave my watch and say I would come back and pay later. The asparagus appeared. I watched her thrust down her throat with large mouthful. At last she finished that too. Now here last thing to offer was about coffee. Coffee with ice cream. Again, author being modest asked for the coffee for himself and both those things for her. Yet the conversation goes on about author is being wrong by eating only mutton chops and not eating healthy food what she was eating for the luncheon. Now students, at the climax if we read, oh I see, then a terrible thing happened. While we were waiting for the coffee, the head waiter also brought a basket full of huge peaches. Peaches were not in the season then. Lord knew what they cost. I knew a little later, for my guest was going on with a conversation, absent-mindedly took one peach. Oh, you see, you have filled my stomach with a lot of meat, my one miserable little chop. And you can't eat any more, but I have just had a snack. She considers the heavy lunch to be a simple snack. Isn't that really humorous, students? The bill came, and when I paid it, I found that I had only enough for some inadequate tip, a very little amount that he could give for the tip to the waiter. Her eyes rested for an instant on the 3 francs I left on the table for the waiter. I knew that she thought me mean. But when I walked out of the restaurant, I had the whole month before me with not one penny in my pocket. Follow my example, she said, as we shook hands, and never eat more than one thing for luncheon. So what did the lady still stick to? That she had eaten very less. I'll do better. That is what the author retorted, or rather he replied in a sarcastic way. Humorist, she called him. Now what is that vindictive the author feels he was? In the end, now we come back to the earlier meeting that he has met her. I have had my revenge. What revenge did he have taken up from the lady? Because she had now grown very fat, and she had turned out to be enough fat that he could say 21 stone. So students, 1 stone weight is 6.35 kg, almost 133 kg she was, though the author was not the revengeful person. Now here, for the self-assessment, students, please solve the textbook questions and also find out the use of irony in the luncheon. For writing skills, write a letter to your friend to invite him or her to celebrate for the Diwali festival in an innovative way this year. Thank you, students. That's for it.